Oh, all right. Yoop-a-doop-a-doo. Well, hello, friends. Coach Bob with you today, and welcome to yet another Worship on Wheels. Another week has gone by. The big ball spinning in space has put another 7 days on us. Sure has. Well, today we're going to be talking about Bill and Ted and going on an excellent adventure. Oh, yes, we are. Ha-ha. Because that's the only way we can go. So without further ado, let's hear a little Bible verse and watch a little bit of Bill and Ted.
No way! Yes way!
Who was Joan of Arc?
Noah's wife? We're in danger of flunking most heinously tomorrow.
You can do anything you want.
Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Excellent! Excellent! Excellent!
Party on, dude.
The Bible verse this week is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 31. But earnestly desire the greater gifts, and I show you still a more excellent way.
All right, so what is all this more excellent way business about? Well, for those who aren't aren't deep biblical scholars, let me back things up a little bit. In the entire chapter of chapter 12, Paul is talking about the roles in the church, of apostles and that sort of thing, and how everybody has their purpose and all these things. And he starts talking about spiritual gifts. And then he says, let me show you a more excellent way. This excellent way leads into the next chapter, chapter 13, of course, because that would be, comes after 12. I don't know what to tell you. You can argue that point with someone else. Anyway, 13, which is the love chapter. A lot of people know that. That verse is read a lot at marriage ceremonies and that sort of thing. It really is a beautiful chapter. The sun is something else. I'm going to have to pick a better time to come out, huh? The chapter 13, the love chapter. So what's all that about? Well, it talks about this. Talks about how to love and what love is. It doesn't envy. It doesn't boast. It doesn't brag. It doesn't keep a record of wrongdoing. All that sort of stuff. That's important. It's very important, as a matter of fact. We'll turn right here. See if we can't get this sun a little less in our face. Ah, look at that little shade. So why does all that matter? What does it matter? Have you ever been unlovable? Have you ever felt unlovable? And all of a sudden, you just wish somebody cared. You just, even though you're unlovable and you're mean, you're grouchy, you're bitter, but you want to be loved. And you don't understand. Maybe you're bitter and grouchy because you're not loved. Well, I can tell you this. Not long after Vicki and I met, one of my early Christmases as a widower, I was pretty angry, pretty bitter dude, man. And she bought me a present for Christmas. Now, that may not sound like a big deal to some of y'all, but let me tell you, Coach Vic at that time, she was broke, man. She was broke. She bought me a shirt from Abercrombie & Fitch. It was way, way more than she could afford. And you know why she did it? Because I like Abercrombie & Fitch. But since that day, every year, she has made a tradition and buys me an Abercrombie & Fitch shirt every year for Christmas. I love it. I love it. Flip this visor. But for her to go out and I was a pretty unlovable guy, y'all. I was angry. I was bitter. I was a good guy. Don't get me wrong. I'd give you the shirt off my back and then slap you for taking it. I was a good guy, but I was angry. And she loved me through it all. And had she not gotten that shirt for me that year, you know what I would have gotten for Christmas? Nothing. I would have gotten nothing. I had alienated myself so drastically that I was just sitting there with my children, sad. That's where I was. It's just where I was. And then a few months later, Coach Vic, we'll just say she lost her cookies. You know what I mean? She had gotten a little bug. And she was like, you can't see me this way. You can't see me this way. I'm like, actually, I can. I love you. I want to take care of you. And I took care of her while she was sick. And And she told me of times where she would be alone and she would be in the wheelchair and she couldn't get anybody to help her. And she would be sick and just lay there running fever and feeling awful for days, and no one would take care of her. And what it meant to her. We loved each other. You know, we both had our little frailties. We both had our little shortcomings in the world. We just did. But we sure looked after each other through those shortcomings. And look at what it created. It created something of great beauty. You know, I was talking to a young couple here recently, and they were having some marital issues. And one of them said this, well, I'm giving my 50%. She's not giving hers. And I said, well, that presents a problem, because 50% ain't enough. Because if you both try to give only 50%, you're half. What if you're off 1%? What if you're only off 1%? What if you really only gave 49%? Guess what? You're at a deficit. You're at 99%. You don't have the love you need to get through the day. You're at a deficit. And that is a very bad thing. The rule of law when it comes to marriage and when it comes to love is this odd mathematical equation. 1 + 1 make 1. So each of you have to give 100%. That way, when one of you can't deliver, because guess what? You can't deliver all the time, every time. You just can't, because you're a human being. You're broken, you're fragile. Then you're always overflowing, never at the deficit. You don't want to be at a deficit. What if one day your spouse can only give 20%? What if they're sick? What if they can only give 2%? If you're not giving your part, if you're not giving the 100%, then man, you are going to be at a deficit that is unbelievable, and you're going to be a bitter, angry person, and you're not going to be happy in your marriage. I can guarantee you that. I had a buddy who him and his wife had taken from each other so much that it was just bitterness. It was constant bitterness from both sides, and he didn't know what to do. And he came to me. He goes, "Man, I'm just done, man. I'm through trying. I love her, and I know how special she is. I know how beautiful she is and intelligent she is, but I just cannot do this, man." And I said, "Well, what are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I love her." I'm like, "That's not what I asked you. I asked you, what are you doing? You're saying you can't do this anymore, so what are you doing?" And man, you could have heard crickets chirping, y'all. Because you know what he was doing? He was being a jerk. That's what he was doing. She was being a jerk. So what did he do? He was a jerk too. And I said, "No, what you got to do, buddy, you got to love her." He goes, "I do love her." I said, No, you don't understand. You got to love her. "Bob, I'm telling you, I do love her." I said, "I'm not talking about love, the feeling. I'm talking about love, the verb. You have to love her. When she comes home and her feet hurt and they're stinky, pull her shoes off. Rub her feet. When she's angry, love her. When she's bitter, love her. When she's tired, love her. When she's just totally emotionally exhausted, love her." He goes, "Man, that's hard, Bob. That's just hard, because what if she don't love me back?" I said, "Well, so you're willing to tell me you're not willing to try? You're just going to throw your marriage away? You're just not going to try? Is that what you're telling me?" He goes, "Man, that sounds bad, doesn't it?" I'm like, "No, it doesn't sound bad, man. That is bad. You just love her, man. That's your only hope. That's the more excellent way." You know, that conversation with this friend of mine was about 25 years ago. Him and his wife were still happily married. By the way, she is beautiful, and so is he. They are wonderful people, intelligent. They're just a handsome couple, very successful in life. And I don't mean just financially, I mean in life. The things that matter. You know, the minute he started pouring love all over her, she started pouring it right back. It was worth it. It was worth it. You know, sometimes somebody has to take the first step. You know, it's always amazing. We're always quick to draw first blood, aren't we? Or to get the last slap. You know, oh, if you said this, well, I got to say this back because I got to win at any cost. You know, it's okay not to win the argument. It's okay to save your marriage. Both of you have to give 100%. You both do. But you knowing that you're human and you can't, that you'll always live in abundance. You'll never fall short. You know, this method holds true in virtually every relationship in your life. It's just how it works. Now, I know there are abusive relationships, and I'm sure somebody down below is going, yeah, well, you're just going to be taken advantage of and run all over. Well, if that's the case, the person doesn't love you, and you'll know, unless you're a knucklehead. But that doesn't describe any of y'all, because none of y'all are knuckleheads. Y'all are all geniuses. That's why you're watching a CB3's Worship on Wheels channel. All right, so make sure you give 100%, because 50% ain't gonna get it done. It's just not. And if you do that, you will live an excellent adventure. All right. Well, you know what that means. Another Worship on Wheels has come to an end. So know this, my friends, you are loved. And that is really, really good news. Now do me a favor. Go change the world. I'll see you on the road real soon.